All right. Hello, everybody. That was Jeff Pitchell's Fat Cigar you were listening to. And that means it's time for Not Just Blowing Smoke, coming at you live from Twin Smoke Shop's studio headquarters in Londonderry, New Hampshire. Be sure you hit that subscribe button wherever you're listening to us. If you're streaming us on Facebook or YouTube, or if you're listening after the fact on Podbean, iHeartRadio, Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, Google, or wherever else you get your podcast from, make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you don't ever miss a thing. I'm Pastor Padron. I'm here with my co-hosts, Pat and Dave. Nick will be with us shortly. And we have, first time, very special guest, Kristyn Castaldi
Hello.
from JC Newman on with us tonight. And Fuente, too.
Yes.
That's very good. So this is kind of neat in that, you're the new rep, and this is also your first podcast.
It is.
Like
Yeah,
ever?
A lot of firsts.
A lot of firsts tonight. Oh my God.
I've experienced a lot of firsts in the past several months, so I'll add this one to the list.
So
Well, welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here tonight. And what we're smoking tonight is this. It is the Diamond Crown number 3. It is their Toro size. It's a 6 1/4 by 52 ring gauge. You want to talk a little bit?
54. They're actually
54?
all 54 ring
54
gauges.
ring gauge.
School.
Yes,
Which
that's
is
what I have written down.
interesting about the Diamond Crown cigar. So this is actually, as you said, I represent JC Newman and Arturo Fuente, and this cigar is actually kind of the culmination of the partnership of the two families. It was made to commemorate the 100th anniversary of JC Newman.
Okay.
At the time, the president, Sanford Newman, who was the second generation,
Mm-hmm.
now we're in the third, but he wanted to make the best cigar in the world to commemorate their 100th anniversary. And so he commissioned, at the time, Carlos Fuente,
Mm-hmm.
who he knew to be the best maker of handmade premium cigars. And he said, I want to make the best cigar in the world to commemorate my 100th anniversary. And he said, at that time, 54 was the biggest ring gauge for cigars. So he wanted a 54 ring gauge because he wanted the absolute most quality filler to be inside the cigar.
Okay.
So it's all Dominican filler binder, as Fuente
Right.
is known for, and then a Connecticut shade wrapper. So it's nice. You get nice body in there with the Dominican, and then you get a nice creamy, mellow, kind of balanced cigar.
Yeah,
So
and the wrapper's aged a long time too, right?
5 years.
And then double fermented.
Double fermented, yeah.
That's
So it's very
cool.
special, yeah. Very special. And it's, not a lot of people know the history, and it's interesting because a lot of people, everybody knows Fuente. It's a really strong name, but JC Newman, you notice that none of their cigars say JC Newman on the band, which, they're kind of trying to. Now they're actually coming into the 4th generation of the Newman family with Drew Newman.
Right.
And he's really about, we've got to start putting our name,
On the cigars,
so
yeah.
people can equate our cigars with the JC Newman family and our legacy. So not many people know that Diamond Crown is even a JC Newman cigar, and not many people know that Fuente makes the cigar.
Right.
So it's a really nice, like I said, culmination of a really strong and long-standing partnership.
Yeah, and my understanding is they also use a lot of Fuente's top tobacco for
Fuente
the
will
cigar.
say that Diamond Crown is the best cigar they make.
Yeah, yeah. I've heard it, in the past that the top 1% and 2% of Arturo Fuente's tobacco is put into these cigars. Whether or not that's actually true, I'm not. Yep, there you go. There's a cigar for you, Nicky boy.
Appreciate it.
Yep, let's everybody welcome Nick. Dave, the applause, please. It's Prison Nick.
Hey, everybody.
Yay. Cool.
So we're just lighting up, just talking about the cigar. Don't really miss much of anything.
Awesome.
Your
Yeah.
audio is working, just so you know.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
So
You shall be heard.
we
Yeah.
are. Pat, can you tell us a little bit about what we're pairing this with tonight?
I feel like I'm not the best one for this. I don't
So we're pairing it with wine,
It's a
basically.
A
it's a
red
cab.
wine.
I know it's an Italian cab.
cab,
and
like
that's,
cabinet.
I like
Cabernet.
Cabernet. Yeah.
That's
Cabernet.
that's all I know.
Of the
Yeah.
uninitiated, like me,
Oh boy.
Cabernet would be nice.
Yeah.
There's
let's
grape.
see here.
There's grapes.
There's grapes
There's
involved
grapes
for
involved.
sure.
The grapes of wrath. You know.
Yeah. The thing is, so it's a biodynamic Coste di Moro Montepulciano d'Abruzzo.
All right. Yeah.
How is
Well,
a person?
So it's pronounced Montepulciano di
Okay.
Abruzzo.
Okay.
I see you're familiar with the wine.
So my background's actually in wine.
Oh,
And
awesome.
I will tell you that Montepulciano is actually, it's both a grape and a place, so it gets confusing. There's a place in Italy called Montepulciano where they grow
Grapes.
Sangiovese grapes, and they make a wine called Vino Nobile di Montepulciano, not to be confused with Montepulciano di Abruzzo, which is of the Montepulciano grape from the town of Abruzzo. And it's actually, Montepulciano is known for being a really easy drinking, which this is easy drinking red wine, Italian red kind of table wine. Just kind of like
What's
we're
not
smoking a
an
really
easy drinking
sm-
red wine? Is that just
Chianti is like really dry and rustic. You know, you have to have food with it. This you can have kind of a glass of it. It's not too, you know,
in your face? You know?
in your face. Just like Diamond Crown is very smooth, and
Yeah,
you know
there
you can
go.
you can have it any time of the day, like Montepulciano. That's why they, you know, it's a nice combination together.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Oh, well, let's.
So let's talk a little bit about first impressions on the cigar, and then we can talk a little bit about the wine, the pairing, and then we can get into good stuff and ask Kristen all sorts of questions.
It's creamy. It's smooth, and I feel like it's definitely complex. I'm getting like a little earths, a little leathers, a little spice. Yeah, I'm working on it, but there's a lot going
It's
on. I
very
feel like.
there's a lot going on. It's a very nice, well balanced cigar. Pat, what about you? What is your mega palate pickup?
This has always been a tough cigar to kind of pinpoint tasting notes to.
I don't know.
So-
Dave just kind of rolled it off his tongue right now.
Um,
So, can't be that hard.
So obviously it has a really creamy texture on the palate, but there's a lot of nuances that kind of come for the finish, and it's the best way I can explain like the prominent note minus the spice, because you have a little bit of brown spice in there, but it has like a really refined like opus leather. Like there's a certain leather in opus cigars that everyone's like, oh, it's opus leather, but it has that a really mild refined version of that. And
Didn't get that. That's yeah.
like a little bit of clove, and then there is a sweetness that kind of coats like the tip of my tongue through the finish.
Yeah, it's like a zesty zing kind of sweetness. I feel.
A zesty zing.
The
A
zesty
double
zing.
G kind of sweetness, Dave.
Zesty zing. Yeah.
Zesty zing.
What about you, Mickey Boy?
It's horrible. I'm just kidding.
Pull a Paul.
You have to
and
wait
just
until I
laugh it
leave.
out.
You have to wait until I leave to say that.
Oh, I want to make sure you're present for that. No, it's a good cigar. I mean, I've smoked these in the past, and I mean, Diamond Crown, Julius Caesars, the whole JC Newman, even the new one that we have downstairs, is pretty damn good. But getting a lot of creamy butteriness, that spice, some cedar, that's very prominent in there. I get the leather, that kind of almost that sour note in there. Yeah, so far on the first light, that's kind of what I get. Hopefully not hopefully, but I kind of like those notes, so hopefully it stays like that. But
Yeah.
we don't know. We'll see how it goes with the pairing. It's very interesting because it's very, very grape forward. Considering I know we're drinking wine, but I mean it's
It's an easy drinking wine.
it is,
It's
but
not
it's
very dry.
There,
Did you not? Did you know?
I know shit. I told Sean I wasn't gonna swear. Jesus.
That's
Anyways.
3 in a row right there.
Ruh-roh.
But it's, I don't know. There's that grape note that's very upfront, and that's kind of, whatever, guys. Moving on.
Okay, Kristen, I want to know what you pick up when you smoke the cigar.
I definitely get. It's funny because when we talked about initially doing this podcast, we talked about possible pairings, and obviously, you know, you guys are the bosses of what we end up doing and the experts. But I said that my favorite pairing for the Diamond Crown cigar is actually an oak Chardonnay, and I really equate a Diamond Crown cigar. I get a lot of those notes, just like you were saying, woody, creamy, toasty, even kind of nutty a little bit. I get some kind of like hazelnut notes with the baking spice.
Yeah.
Definitely. And even like you said, those sour notes, even
Yeah.
a little bit of kind of citrus and zest as well.
Yeah.
That's kind of, I get
Yeah,
all of
yeah.
those notes in this cigar.
Yeah.
And I really, because like I said, my background's in wine. And so I've actually, it's helped me a lot in learning cigars and calibrating my palate to cigars to use that parallel with wine and with spirits.
Very similar as far as
And so a
Yeah.
lot of those notes that I would get, the woody, the toasty, the citrusy and sour, and the creamy, I get in this cigar.
Yep. Yep. Very cool. Now, how did you end up, Kristen, with this cool gig, working with, you know, JC Newman, Fuente, you know, as their New England rep? I mean, you were not in the cigar industry before, correct?
I was
you were
not.
Like you were in wine. Like,
I had no idea this existed as an industry.
how did this come on your radar? Even?
I wish I had a romantic and fun story about how
Did you
I
even smoke
got-
cigars before?
no.
Oh, wow.
I
Wait, are you smoking one right now? You
I
gotta
am.
be smoking
I
one right
am.
now.
Don't worry. But my first cigar actually was a Diamond Crown. Funny
Beautiful.
enough. Yes. So again, like I said, a lot of
Appropriate.
firsts.
Yeah.
But like I said, you know, I got recruited on LinkedIn, which is not a very romantic story, but it is in the way that I obviously was very passionate and still am very passionate about wine and spirits. I never thought I would leave that business. I was kind of ready for my next step, but I didn't think it would be outside of that industry. And I was reached out to by a recruiter who said, I have a longtime client of mine, and they're one of my oldest clients, and they don't turn people over often. And it's an amazing opportunity. It's a family, you know, family's been in business for over 100 years. And would you be open to having a conversation with them? And it sounded, you know, intriguing, like, you know, a company I'd like to work for. So I said, I'll talk to them. And she said, well, do you know anything about cigars? And I said, no.
Oh.
I do not. But it's interesting because actually the company that I work for prefers that you don't come from the cigar industry because, as I said, they're one of the oldest families, you know, in I think the oldest in the U.S. at least to be producing cigars, and there's a reason why they've been in business for 100 years. They do things a certain way, and they want to bring people in who are, you know, obviously a certain type of person. That's, you know, I've been in sales for several years, but they want people to kind of come in and learn the JC Newman way and the Arturo Fuente way, and
Yeah,
you
they
know,
want a
be
clean
fresh
slate.
and to have a
Yeah.
clean slate.
Yeah,
and,
they
you
want
know,
a clean slate. They
and
don't
they-
want somebody that
and
has
I will say,
developed habits.
learning the industry from this company out, they set the bar very high.
Oh yeah.
Very high. So I can see why they do that, because they set a high bar and they want you to come in and this is the standard. And they set a high standard. So yeah, you know, I agreed to speak with the company, and I had my first call was with the director of sales for Arturo Fuente and the general manager of El Reloj, which is the factory, the JC Newman factory in Tampa. And that was really my introduction into the cigar business and how it works, and into these two incredible families who invest in their product, invest in their people. And I was intrigued from that point on. And from that point on, that call, I wanted this job.
Nice.
What
You know?
about that call made you want to jump into an industry you knew absolutely nothing about?
Well, there were two different things. Firstly, it was because, like you said, I knew nothing about it. I never gave a second thought to a cigar in my life. But I was very passionate about wine and about spirits. And in talking to them and kind of, you know, a broad overview of the cigar business, I realized the parallels in the fact that this is truly, I mean, a lot of what I'm passionate about in wine and spirits is kind of the romance and the history and the families
Yeah.
and
Oh,
the
yeah.
traditions. And that is the cigar business. It's history.
It's
it's
the
traditions.
same, but a different
And believe
product.
me,
You know
because
what
I
I mean?
went,
It's
I
crazy.
went, you're 100% right. And I went to visit the Fuente factory in January, and there's a lot of buzzwords that we use in a lot of industries, particularly food, particularly wine, spirit, around sustainability and tradition and family. And a lot of them are just that, of buzzwords where, yeah, to some degree they follow them, but there's some, over the course, there's modernization. There's no modernization in this, but you go and they're doing the same practices they've been doing for 100 years. You feel like you're transported back 100 years when you go. And it just, kind of that broad overview of wow, all those parallels. I could see myself being able to develop the same passion for cigars that I was able to develop for wine and spirits. It's a handmade product. It's an agricultural product. And then again, kind of the broad overview of the Newman family and the Fuente family and their partnership and how they are really revered in this business because they're truly families that have been in business for over 100 years. Both of them are now on the third generation, and that's what they pride themselves that they're a family business, and like I said, they invest in their people. Their people are their family, and they hold themselves, like I said, to such a high standard that you see it in their products and in the way that they do business, the way that they even treat their customers, that I'm sure you can attest to. Of the company I was working for was very happy with my previous company. It was a big company. It was corporate,
Yeah.
and interviewing with this company, this is the type of company that I could see myself working for a long term.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. So, had you ever smoked a cigar before you had this?
I had never smoked a full cigar. I could say I
There's acid
dabbled.
here and there.
Well, we would do some actually events
Come
in my
on,
previous
Kristen,
company.
just take a puff. Okay,
In my
just leave
previous
me
company,
alone.
they would do some events at country clubs and such where they would have a cigar roller, but it was really like probably somebody you get for weddings. You know what I mean? It was
Yeah.
nothing of quality and I would always try it,
Yeah.
but I never was committed to it or really, So I my father always smoked cigars and he would smoke a cigar, every day. So that was kind of the background that I had. So it's been a journey. It's been a journey.
Yeah. So, when you had your Diamond Crown,
Yes.
which you said was your first cigar, what was that? Was it like, oh, this is kind of nicer than I thought, or was this, how did that work?
Well, I was
How did
nervous
you take to it?
because, when I was interviewing, most of my interviews until my final interview were virtual. And so they had asked me, well, you don't smoke cigars. Obviously, they said it's okay. A lot of people that, work for us aren't huge smokers, but they said, a customer might ask you to sit down, are you opposed to, and I said, no, I'm not opposed, but I don't know if I'm going to enjoy it. Will I be opposed? Some people get sick. I didn't know, I didn't know.
Right.
And so my first cigar, actually, when I went for my final interview, I sat down and it was an interview of literally 15 people around a table and me. And they offered me a cigar. And I said, no, thank you. I didn't know if that was going to bode poorly for me, but I didn't know what my reaction would be. And I said, I'm going to have a whole interview with all these people. I better not. And so the first time I smoked a cigar was actually when, funnily enough, my first day on this job was the 125th anniversary party for JC Newman. So the cigars were flowing, and I was like, okay, this is the time for me to go and have a cigar. So again, I didn't really know what I would, and I was pleasantly surprised of smoked the whole cigar,
Nice.
and it was enjoyable, and it was atmosphere is a lot too, because it was
Atmosphere is a lot,
really,
yep.
it was a really social and laid back and and everything. But yeah, I was pleasantly surprised. I said, wow, yeah, I do actually enjoy this. And since then, I've smoked several cigars, and some I've definitely enjoyed more than others. But yeah.
Sure. So, now Fuente and Newman together have a incredibly wide portfolio of products.
Yes.
And I know you've been kind of slowly smoking your way
Yes.
through through the portfolio, what have been some that to you, to your palate, have stood out to you as like, oh, you think this is really
Definitely, you mentioned the Diamond Crown Julius Caesar.
good?
That is really, because again, as somebody who's new to this business, you come in with kind of your preconceived notions that a lot of people, I'm sure, have of it's a dark cigar,
It is.
and so you're not sure how, but I have to say it's robust and rich and it's full flavored. That's a cigar that I really found myself enjoying. Of the,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like that's one that you almost don't want it to end. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
really
It's
been
not
a
a- it's
standout
not
for
a-
me.
Yeah, it's not a powerhouse in like as far as strength is
No.
concerned, but I mean it's a full body smoke. It's very, like you said, it's very robust. There's a lot of flavor. It's
Rich,
complex.
yes.
Yeah, it's a good cigar. We sell a lot of it here.
And the Fuente Hemingway line. I really enjoyed those.
You're so spoiled.
Yeah, yeah, she is.
Those it's almost like you want to lick your lips. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
got that sweet kind of baking spice element as well. So
Yeah.
those have been kind of the standouts on either side of the portfolios for me.
Okay,
Yeah.
very cool. Now you've been at this for how many months now?
I started in November, so 8 months.
8 months. 8 months. So what has anything, as you, brand new industry, brand new product, you come in and you kind of jumped in with both feet. Has there been anything that's really surprised you in a positive way about over the last 8 months about this new things, whether it, how the industry works, how you receive the whole aspect of the cigar culture?
The most surprising element is definitely the cigar culture as a whole because it's so niche. And the way I describe it is it's a small industry, but it's a big industry because it's a small.
Even the competitors are family.
Oh,
that's
it's
right.
incredible. Here we are sitting in this cigar lounge, and you could be anybody walking in. That doesn't matter what your politics are, what you do for a living, what your family. You like cigars, you're in. And there is nothing. I've never seen anything that exists like that else, unless people are into church and stuff like
Right.
that. And I've never seen anything outside of maybe church. But then again, you have to be part of that
nothing in retail
religion.
business.
No.
Yeah.
Where it really is a culture and it's a community and it's a global. There's never been anything else that you see, and it's especially as we get older and become adults, and especially as I have to say, even though I don't obviously necessarily relate, but men, especially as you get older, it's hard to socialize, get people to go into and have a social friend, atmosphere outside of your immediate family. And this is it. People, like I said, you sit down and anybody sits down, your friends, your family. That's definitely been something that and like you said, how even I'm received because I'm in sales and in my previous business, it's very competitive. And you're a new salesperson, you're going to be dismissed 10 times before somebody even looks. They don't want to deal with you. We don't need another salesperson. They're going to say you have to keep kind of coming back. And I expected that. I expected people to test me and, kind of have a hard time getting appointments and, have to keep coming back. I couldn't have experienced a more opposite, kind of welcome into this.
Yeah, that's
How
the thing about it too.
Along that line, how many other cigar reps have actually offered to help out or give you advice?
Every single person I've met.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Isn't
Isn't that awesome?
that's
Do you
Yes.
imagine
weird.
going with a competing
Yes.
brand with wine and then, they're just at the store you're going to like this has happened before. Like we're having an event. There's product that needs to go from one store to another and a competitor will bring that stuff over there even though the guy's already here to help them out. You know what I mean? Like it's just, you don't see that in any other
Look,
industry.
the first time I met another sales rep, because in my previous business, sometimes you go in and there's other sales reps in the account that you're in, and you wait in line. That person's having a meeting, you go, stand away from there, you stand outside, and you wait until they're done. Out of respect, you do that. So I walked into an account and there was somebody meeting. I said, "Oh my God, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt your meeting. I'll go wait over here. No, 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 sit down. And I thought they're just being nice. I said, no, I feel really uncomfortable. I see that you're having a meeting. No, sit down. Really, we're just talking. So that was, and that's what it is. You know, they're
Yeah,
like,
it's
"Well,
very
just-"
welcoming.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a whole different kind of. I don't know how to describe it either. I get your parallel with church, you know, but just
It's better than church. I'll say it.
Whoa.
It's better than church.
yeah, spoken like a true pagan.
That's
Well, you
bold
because you try
statement
to
there,
think
brother.
about things that bring people out and have them be social, and
Right.
that's the only thing I can really think of. That if you're involved in that, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Going to hell with that one, aren't I?
Well, you were already on your way,
You're
there, Dave. So
you're gonna ride on the handlebars. I'm gonna ride the bike, bro. I'll be pedaling. Pat will be on the back pegs. It'll be all three of us going down the hill.
What's been the biggest challenge for you over the last 8 months?
I thought that the product knowledge would be a really big challenge, but honestly, because there is such kind of a parallel, it's made the learning process really easy, especially being able to go to the Fuente factory and see the actual operation. It was really eye-opening
got to?
for
That's so
me.
awesome.
It
Yeah.
was incredible. It was an incredible experience. And I kind of compare it to almost like if you watch a movie that's really good, but it's complicated. And you see the movie and you're like, wow, that movie was incredible. But you're like, I have to watch it again. Because there were people on the trip that have been on that trip 10 times and they still were seeing something because it's a lot. There's so much to the process and you know. So that was really helpful. Honestly, I have to say probably the biggest challenge has been the geography of it all because my territory is pretty big and I was not very familiar. I'd never been to New Hampshire before.
Oh,
So
nice.
and we were just talking because
One of
I
those Connecticut city folk.
well so I'm from Connecticut, which is New England technically, but I'm from southwestern Connecticut. So I was, you know, 40 minutes outside of New York City. So I'd never been to a lot of these areas. So that was kind of overwhelming at first it's a lot of guesswork and routing of, you know, you kind of think these states are all small and what could it be more than 20 minutes between each other? And I was like going back and forth 45 minutes, an hour in between and going out of my way. So
Oh yeah.
there's a lot of trial and error in that process. It's been a challenge. It's gonna take me a
Imagine
while
doing this
to
20 years
really
ago with
get that
MapQuest
set.
and printing out a bunch
Oh my god. Jesus.
Especially in areas like this, because I mean, there's a lot of trees.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's hard to see. Yep.
Well, you can, especially in like midsummer where a lot of the trees are like covering a lot of the roads
And
and you
here
can't
we're in
see
the city. I mean,
signs
some
and-
of the areas where I go, I'm like, where? You know.
Oh yeah. Oh, you can get lost pretty quick, especially in the
Yeah.
back roads in New Hampshire. Forget about it.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
The location of Twins is pretty awesome, though.
Oh yeah, it's very easy to find.
Yeah, right off the highway, can't get better.
Somebody asked me recently what my favorite places that I travel to for work, and I said New Hampshire because I feel like you have everything here. You have really nice beaches, you have lakes, you have the mountains, and they're all beautiful. It's I can't
Yeah.
believe I didn't. It's like a best kept secret of the Northeast.
That's why
Oh,
we all
yes.
moved here.
Yeah.
And we
It's
didn't
really-
tell
it's
anybody.
really
I couldn't do the
nice.
city.
You have everything here.
Couldn't do the
Oh,
city
Kristen.
anymore. Couldn't do the city anymore.
Now the word's out.
Yeah. Oh, forget it.
No, I see us all kind of smoking and sipping, you know, on the wine and everything. How are we? You know, Twins is a bourbon bar. It's not really a wine bar, so my choices were limited. And she pointed this. You want to try this? Okay, sure. But I'm actually liking it. You know, it's one of those things where, you know, it is a fuller bodied, you know, wine, and it does have a very, you know, rich flavor to it, but the sweetness that it leaves behind,
Yeah.
if you know, give it a few minutes to start to pass and then you puff on the cigar, the sweetness in the wrapper really picks up on that, and I'm enjoying the pairing. I imagine that the
I think it really brings out.
Chardonnay
Yeah.
that you recommended would probably have been a lot better. But this is not unenjoyable.
No, it's pretty nice. I mean, the sweetness in both the drink and the cigar are pretty on point. The spice note is kind of weird because you get the sweetness, you get that leather note, but the leather note is also matching a little bit of the wine as well too. There's an earthy note in the wine that's really enjoyable in the long finish, and it's interesting to go back and forth with the cigar and the wine. There's some similarities, but there's a lot of things that are not comparing. They're not matching up, and it's just there's some nice complexities there that I'm enjoying, but then I'm like, it's kind of interesting and it's kind of not matching, but I'm okay with it. It's all right. It's not bad, Kristen. It's not bad.
Yeah, the finish of the wine to me really brings out that lemon zest in the cigar.
Yeah.
I think it really brings it forward, and I think that's really pleasant because that's one of the properties of the wrapper, Emily, because it's like isn't it Connecticut shade?
Yeah, this is USA, Connecticut.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting because, I mean, there's fruit and there's earth and there's spice in the cigar and in the wine.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, they're a little different. They're a little,
Yes. Yeah.
whereas the fruit component in the cigar, you get, like you said, sweet and citrus almost.
Yeah.
Whereas this is red fruit.
Yeah. It's very, not, I can say pungent, but it's very bold.
Yeah.
So if you go like straight back to back with the drink and the cigar, I think you'll ruin it. And like Danny said, you got to take a sip. You kind of let it, rest on your palate. Then you take a puff of the cigar, and then it kind of almost, kind of dances very well with each other. It's kind of like one, but they both have two left feet, but they know what they're doing, type of deal. You know what I mean? Like in that aspect, you know what I mean?
They never end up stepping on each other.
Yeah,
Almost,
exactly.
but they never end
Yeah,
up
like
stepping on each other.
you like if you're at a club. Well,
like a
I don't
drunken
know if
monkey
anybody
waltz.
goes to a club anymore, but if you're at a party or something and you see your grandparents kind of dancing and stuff, and it kind of looks weird, but they know what they're doing and they've been doing it for a long time, and yeah, it makes sense, kind of sort of like that. But I mean, that's kind of how I feel that's going. They're opposites, but they work well together. Kind of like me and my wife.
I'm trying to wrap my mind around pairing cigars with wine because, wine is obviously made to go with food. And, so pairing wine with food has become kind of a science, and spirits do, and people try to do it. And there are certain things that, for example, like I could say with this, because if you have a bitter or acidic or salty food and a dry wine, the bitterness in the food will make the wine taste sweeter. It'll bring out kind of the fruit components. And there is a bit of bitterness and earthiness kind of in the cigar. So I'm wondering if that's bringing out the fruity and kind of sweeter notes in the wine.
Probably.
But in contrast, if you have a sweet food and a dry wine, the sweetness in the food will make the wine taste more bitter. So you're not supposed to really pair a dry wine with like dessert. You have to have a dessert wine.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if the really fruity component in the wine almost brings out those kind of zesty and more earthy and sour components in this.
Yeah,
I don't know.
To me, it does.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would agree with that for sure. Because I've had this cigar before and I haven't got those
It's
notes.
It's not
It's
been
not
that
as-
zesty. Like
yeah.
Yeah.
It hasn't been that loud, I should say.
But there is the one general rule of pairing anything. The first rule of always pairing,
Yes.
if you like it, it goes.
That's it.
Yeah, that is the number one rule of pairing. Yes.
I would like to have this wine with the Julius Caesar.
This would go fantastic with the Julius Caesar.
We should go downstairs quickly and grab. Hey guys,
What's this crap? You put LaGroin on the show?
Yeah, you
you
weren't
guys
here.
weren't here.
You weren't here. Yeah. Yeah.
You guys weren't here. Now you're ruining the show.
I'm sorry, we have some hooligans coming through the door.
Some hoodlums, some hacks.
Some hoodlums, some hacks.
Yeah, I think the Julius Caesar would do very well with this wine. It'd be interesting to have the pairing and to see how that goes, because it could go completely opposite. You think it would go good, but you never know until you try it.
Yeah.
You know, you can't
Julius
knock it.
Caesar, I get like bittersweet chocolate. I
Yeah.
almost get undertones of that in this wine.
A
Too,
little
so
bit,
I wonder
yeah.
if they would bring out.
The Julius Caesar is my favorite JC Newman cigar. I love that.
I don't know
Toro, The Toro.
that
I love that cigar.
the
That's a great
the what
cigar.
is it? We have the Black Diamond Crown downstairs. Not the Black Diamond. The
that
new
would
one
be the Black Diamond.
Well, no, you have the Black Diamond that comes out like once a year, and then the one that we have downstairs. It's the Black Diamond, but it's like a red band on it too.
It's just the Maduro, right?
I don't know.
Diamond
Yeah,
Crown Maduro.
the Diamond Crown Maduro has a
I don't know, but it's the Black Diamond. The Black Diamond is very rich.
Keep saying that.
Whatever, Danny.
Yeah.
I know what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
I'm not crazy. I swear.
Just a little.
Is there anything you want to add to the palate discussion patio?
Patio.
I'll echo whatever I said from when we had this wine. It was like 2 months ago, I think, when Brie was here still. Like when we were selecting this wine to bring in the shop, we had we all kind of agreed that there was like tobacco notes and then kind of like an oak woodiness to it. Then there was like some unsweetened chocolate and then obviously like jammy red fruit. So I think naturally like every cigar I've had with this wine, it's gone well. And I think on the palate, on the initial draw, I think they're contrasting, but I think through the finish, they're more complementary.
Yeah.
And I think because of those tobacco notes and like those rich, like kind of unsweetened cocoa and then just like that jamminess kind of. See, the sweetness fades away from the finish for me. I
Yeah.
get more of those bitter notes.
Yeah, those
Like the
bitter
oak
lemon
wood, the
zest,
earth,
yeah.
and like the tobacco, obviously
Yeah.
the cigar, but I think that's where I'm kind of at with it.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
So, is this a pairing that's like it sucks, or do you think this was? It's working out for.
It's
one
working
reason?
out. I mean, it's bringing a lot of interesting conversation, and I think it's definitely bringing forward notes that you didn't necessarily notice in the cigar before and in the wine. So I think it's that's what pairing is. It's kind of, you see what one kind of does to the other. Everything's a pairing,
Right,
whether it's a
right,
pairing that you like and whether it's complementary or it might not be complementary, it might be contrasting, but it forces you to look at the wine and the cigar differently, and see something you might not have. So I think it's effective either way.
Yeah.
Let's do a little best and worst.
Ooh, and what? Movies?
Several different things,
Movies?
and we can all answer this.
Oh,
Not just her.
okay.
Okay. What's the best and worst place you have ever visited or vacationed at?
For vacation?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Jeez.
Or visited?
It's a short list. Oh.
I haven't really been anywhere.
The Burger King next door?
Yeah,
The
Yeah,
Five Guys
right.
next door?
The Shell gas station next door, across the street. I've only really been to Puerto Rico, which is always, every time I go, I've been going for the past 17 years. And every time I go, I love, it's an amazing place, amazing island. And it's usually one thing we usually do new every time we go. Last year we did ATVs in the jungle, which was, amazing. It was kind of scary because we were pretty close to a cliff, but it was exhilarating, but it was fun. But I always go to the Bacardi factory. We go to Old San Juan. I usually always stop in the cigar house down there, which is I always call it twins in Puerto Rico because it's set up kind of like our shop. And the collection they have of cigars is pretty on point to our stuff too. And but I go there, and that's pretty much it. There's not really
One
a
of the worst
good or
place you ever been to.
worst place.
Yeah, worst place.
That's
Don't say
hard.
your mom's.
No, God, I love going to my mom's.
You can say Dave's.
No, I like going to Dave's house too. Damn, I don't know. Every time I go somewhere, I always enjoy going there. That's why I go there. If I don't like it, I don't go there. Really, I rarely.
You have to go there before you know you don't like it. That's how it works.
I don't know.
All right,
Pass. Come back to
gonna-
me
we're
because
gonna-
I'm gonna have to really
Dave,
think
what about
about
you?
this.
Best and worst.
Oh man,
What's the worst place you ever been?
I don't have. I don't.
Pat,
I don't,
what
I
about
don't
you?
really have a worst place, you know.
Vacation.
Anywhere.
Well, I'll
Visited
answer
or vacation?
I went to so when my cousin got married, which was like 2 years ago, and it was like a last minute hotel book in Maryland, and it was like, the hotel was on like this wharf, and there was like almost like a peninsula, but it was like this beach, and it was like really kind of like back road hickey, which I don't like that kind of stuff, but
Back road.
but you
hickey.
walked in the room freshly.
That's interesting.
Like fresh check-in, you go in there and there's just beach sand on the floor, like in your room. It was disgusting.
They're trying to bring the beach to the hotel room.
Well, it's because they didn't clean the floor.
Oh! I
Yeah.
thought they were trying to do
'Cause
like
if-
a beach theme in the hotel
No,
room.
they didn't clean the floor. So that was probably the worst place. And then the best place is Martha's Vineyard, Mass. We go there every year.
It's a good place. It's a good place to go.
Kristen.
I don't know. Worst is hard. Worst is hard. Best is hard too. I really like Italy a lot.
Oh,
And I was talking to somebody about this yesterday because there's so many places that I want to see, but it's hard if you like somewhere a lot to not keep going back. So I've been to Italy a few times, but I have to say though, every part of Italy is different. I can't pick one that I really like. But I like Arizona a lot also. And that's a place I've also been like a few times. And so those are at the top. But worse, I'm trying to think of a bad place that I had to even go for work. But I can't think of any place I've gone
Here,
that
let me
I'm
tell
like,
you-
this was terrible.
Here we go. Camden, New Jersey. I don't ever want to go there again.
what's in Camden, New
I went
Jersey?
to is there a concert venue?
Death is in
I
Camden,
feel
New
like I've been.
Jersey.
It wasn't bad.
That is just, it is a horrible, horrible place.
Really?
I'm sorry. It's just, it is nasty, dangerous. It's bad.
Damn.
I would not go to Camden.
Thanks
I
for
know.
revising my memory, because now that I remember that drove through New Jersey, I would never want to drive through New Jersey again because it stinks. Like it just terrible.
Not all of New Jersey is
Terrible.
like that.
I
There's
will
a
say-
reason it is called the
Terrible.
Garden State. There is plenty of great
To
stuff in New
offset
Jersey,
all of the
but it's
smell.
Camden and Newark you want to avoid. If you
Oh,
avoid those places, New Jersey is a great place.
I went to Wildwood Crest, New Jersey every year growing up, and it's fantastic. It's really fun. The
Yeah.
beaches are beautiful. I wouldn't say this was necessarily bad, but I did travel to Indiana for work because it's part of my boss's territory, and
oh yeah,
I
you
wouldn't
had to spend a
say
week or
it's
so there.
bad, but I can't imagine why anybody would go there.
Yeah, no offense, but Buffalo's another one of those places. I don't understand why people go to Buffalo. People leave Buffalo, but who goes to vacation in Buffalo?
I don't know.
buffaloes.
No, horrible place. Even the Buffalo Wings.
I was
which
gonna
is where
say
they
maybe
got
people want to go see the birthplace of the
the
wings.
birthplace of- and I've been there and done that, and the wings were okay.
They say also
They were
buffalo wings
okay.
aren't really from Buffalo. Have you heard that?
I've heard that too.
Ooh.
Heard that too.
Oh boy.
But even the building even says where the place that started it, and get yourself 100 wings. You sit down. Yeah, these are just okay. This is how did this become a thing? If this was here,
Interesting.
Now I've been to the Puritan House here, and
Where they
Hooks, New
soak their
Hampshire, where
chicken
they-
in pineapple juice.
where they claim to have created the chicken tender. The first place in the country to have the chicken tender.
Facts.
And people come from all over the country to have their chicken.
And
It is,
mudslides.
here's a huge high-end restaurant, and what you want is the chicken.
Is it good?
It's
It
very
is.
good.
Oh yeah.
It's
They,
thought you were
they
gonna
and
say
the
it's
mudslides.
underwhelming.
Their mudslides.
I love a
They
mudslide.
they buy the most Kahlua in the world, like legit.
serious?
Yeah,
Damn.
that's a fact.
There's a place in Montauk called Liars, and Montauk. So I also grew up going to Montauk, and Montauk is very different now than when I was younger. It's become basically the Hamptons. It's very bougie and fancy, but there's this place called Liars, and it's a local dive.
Oh,
And they make mudslides, and it's literally just vodka and Kahlua and Bailey's in the blender, and it's fantastic. They're so
Ooh.
good. It's all you
They have
need.
like a million different mudslides. It's crazy. You can get whatever you want in a mudslide. Like
They make their own
regular,
ice cream.
yeah, they make their
at
own
this
ice cream. And
place.
so you can get like
Damn.
a Snickers mudslide. You can
Yeah.
get, like it's
Yeah.
crazy.
They have their own
Unbelievable.
generator.
Yeah.
So like if the power goes out, they're still
You can still get
working.
wow.
It's crazy. It's crazy nuts. Crazy nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about TV show or movie, best and worst.
TV show or movie, or
Take your pick.
I'll go movies, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so best movie.
Okay, this is what I think right now.
Thanks
is
for
like
cutting me off, Dave.
the
Appreciate
perfect
it.
movie. No problem. You're still thinking.
Oh
Is
yeah,
that-
I was gonna spit it out.
Is I think, this is probably going to be weird to a couple people, but I think the best movie, like cinema, like
Cinnamon.
cinema, the cinematography of it. There not being any, like, there was no bad acting, there was no bad scripts, there was no bad scenes, like everything
Ooh.
belonged. It was a perfect movie from beginning to end.
Fast and Furious 10.
Was 7.
Ooh, that's interesting.
That's a good movie.
That is a good movie.
I can
There's
get
not a
behind that.
single scene that doesn't belong. There's not a single scene that you could have added. Everything was perfect.
Damn.
Just watched it again last night. I thought it was, or not last night, the night before, Saturday night.
That's good. Best movie for me is Jaws. I say it to everybody. I love that movie. I know it's old and I know it's old fashioned, and the prosthetics and the shark and everything looks so fake, but I mean
It's still
the-
terrifying.
It's still it terrified me when I was a kid.
Yep.
But I mean that every time I watch that movie, it makes me think that how much work they had to go into the animatronics of that shark. They actually filmed it in Martha's Vineyard as well. So having that on location, having the real having the actors in there, and having everything on point for me, and that has just been a staple of movies in that, because I look at that and I'm like, comparing that to everything now that's CG, and not a lot of, there's certain directors and everything like that still use animatronics and still use, real actors in suits and stuff like that. But a lot of it is, CG and computer generated and everything like that. But I mean, that for me started it all, and I really appreciate movies because of that movie for me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the best movie. The worst movie? Oh, jeez. It's got to be one of
I know one right now that I saw and I wish I never saw again.
what?
Ice Pirates.
What the hell is Ice Pirates?
There's
They
so
don't
many
even-
shitty movies.
You don't even. So, yeah.
I thought so. For me, it was a funny movie, and it was so outrageous, but it was so bad. Was Sharknado? I'm sorry, dude.
Dude,
Like
no,
that, nobody
Sharknado was a masterpiece. Next
Nobody
to this.
should have made that
Like,
movie, dude.
You will watch. I swear.
Nobody should have made that movie.
Because you'll just be like,
But there was Sharknado 2 and 3.
3
four.
and 4. Like
yes,
no,
still, yeah.
like no. Stop it.
Ice Pirates. Man.
Stop it.
Total. Oh my God.
Oh my
2
god.
hours of my life I can never get back.
Kristen.
Leprechaun was better than that.
Jason Goes to Space was better than that,
Yeah,
probably.
Yeah. Yep.
And that was
I
a
haven't
bad
heard
movie.
of a lot of this movie, so they might be bad.
The
I
Star
don't know.
Wars Christmas special was better than that. Like it was.
I didn't even see that one.
Oh, well, it's you can't even find it. Lucas tried to ban it from freaking everything. If it wasn't for the internet, it would be a dead thing.
Didn't Disney just sell Star Wars back to Lucasfilms?
I don't know if that's rumor or not. I keep hearing it, but I haven't really heard official. I hope to God they did.
I heard, and I really hope they did, because damn, that's all I gotta say about that.
Yep.
Pat, what do you got?
Just ask Kristen.
Oh, I'm sorry,
You interrupted.
Kristen.
Didn't let her
My
talk.
apologies. My God.
I've never heard of the movies that you said were bad, even that shark one. Even though they had
Sharknado?
multiple, I've
Oh
never
my
heard of it.
God.
There are a
She's
lot of
from
really good
Connecticut. What do you
movies,
want?
and there are a lot of really bad ones. But I think in my life, time at least. I think that I think Titanic was a really good movie, and I know that speaks to like
Yep.
my generation and everything, but
Mm-hmm.
that really is a movie that you can watch multiple times. The acting is
Yes.
really good, like you
Yeah.
said. There's no like cinematography. I also think this is weird, and it's not like a cinema classic or anything, but I also think Fight Club is a very good movie.
Fight Club
It's
was
so
a very,
complex.
very
Good movie.
And that's a movie you can
Totally
watch
agree,
over
yeah.
and over again, and remember
It
I
got
was
me
saying
so
the
depressed.
plot,
I actually had to stop
the
it the
plot
first
is
time I was
complex.
watching.
Every time you watch it, you
Mm.
pick up on something different, which I think is good.
Oh,
Giving
yeah.
me panic attack.
A terrible movie, I think, is Snakes on a Plane with Nicolas Cage.
Snakes
That
on a
always really stuck
Nope,
out to
he
me
didn't-
as a
he didn't
terrible
have-
movie.
Snakes on a Plane.
Wasn't that
Nicolas
Nicolas
Cage
Cage?
was not in that movie.
What was the one with Nicolas Cage?
That was Con Air. When he
Am I
was
thinking
he was
the
from
bunny back in the
Alabama.
box?
He was
Two
he
different
was a
movies.
Marine.
Snakes on a Plane
Was with Sam Jackson.
Samuel
Yeah.
L.
Okay,
Jackson.
they're both terrible.
Snakes on a Plane was pretty bad. I mean, like,
The Nicolas Cage one had a good cast. But
yeah,
the movie
John
was
Malkovich.
terrible. Steve Buscemi.
Oh yeah, I mean, unlikely for that
It
to
was a
happen
very
in
weird
real life.
movie.
Very unlikely for that to happen in real life. I mean, I thought
and
it was
they were
okay.
both bad. Samuel Jackson, also great actor. That movie was
Yep.
terrible.
I mean, that was definitely at the bottom of his list.
So
I mean,
also-
he had to come back and do.
this
he
is
had
the
to come
last thing
back
I'll say on movies. A Time to Kill with Matthew McConaughey
Ooh.
and Samuel Jackson. It was an incredible movie. Matthew McConaughey, his movies are either incredible or terrible.
Yeah.
Like all those Kate Hudson and Matthew McConaughey. He had
Yeah,
that like
yeah.
rom-com streak.
Yeah.
Terrible. Ghost of Girlfriend's Past. Terrible.
How about Fool's Gold?
That was a great movie.
Shall we get a launch?
Terrible.
Eh.
You like that one?
No, I mean
How to
that
Lose
was
a Guy in 10 Days?
nope. I used to watch that one.
Pat, do
That
you
one
know
actually is
any
not
of
that
the
bad.
movies
It's not
that
that
we
bad.
talked about?
No clue what's going on right now.
Pat, do you have a favorite movie?
Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump.
That's
He's
good
a
movie.
liar. He's a liar.
Is it?
There's no way that's your favorite movie.
True Patriot.
True Patriot?
He's a true
That's
patriot,
what- yeah.
therefore he likes
Oh,
Forrest.
all right.
Worst movie?
What is it called? Rubber? The one with the tire that just rolls around.
You
and
watched
goes-
that movie?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's a
okay.
bad movie.
It's a bad movie.
Yeah, watch
Oh.
Irish Pirates.
There you go. How about Boondock Saints? Where does that rank for you guys? Because it's a local movie. It
It's
was
one
made
of
in-
those movies that
I mean,
I thought it was good. I don't understand why it's a classic.
I've never seen it.
because it was filmed in Boston, probably. That's why. And I mean,
Goodwill Hunting.
The
Good one.
Departed.
That's a
The
club.
Departed is a very good movie.
yep.
There's a lot of
That was a
departing.
classic.
Departed.
Yeah, there was. That there was.
For me, best movie. I go back and forth. I have a lot of
Gone with the
favorite
Wind?
movies. No, no. I think The Princess Bride.
Oh, that is
That's
a good
a-
movie.
that's a
One-
classic.
Again, it's one of those. It's defied time. You can watch it over and over. You don't get tired of it. The acting was great. The lines were great.
Wasn't Andre the Giant in that movie?
Yep.
Andre the
Oh, yeah.
Giant
Oh
was in
my
that movie.
God.
And literally one of the worst movies I've ever seen was that Marvel thing, Morbius.
Was it that bad?
Yeah,
I still haven't
was
watched
that
it.
bad. And then
there were worse superhero movies than that.
no, not really.
Yeah,
That
like
was
Green Lantern.
no Green Lantern was much better
and
than Morbius.
and the original like what 60s or 70s Spider-Man.
Oh, come on.
much better than Morbius. And then, but
No.
then I have to say, I tried to watch because I like David Harbour,
Yeah.
and I liked Violent Night.
Oh God,
love
what a
it.
movie!
That was
I've never
was
seen
funny.
it.
I love. It's on net. Well, is it on Netflix? It's not on Netflix, right?
No, it's on.
Is it Hulu?
No, it's on Amazon, I believe.
Oh my God, what a
David
good
Harbour
movie.
plays Santa Claus, and he gets caught up in this heist.
What's it
Cross
Silent
Violent
Night.
cross like the Santa Claus with
Die
with
Hard.
Die Hard.
I love a
and that's
Christmas
what you
movie.
go and
Oh
and he's the Bruce Willis of the movie.
yeah,
That
as
is
Santa
just-
Claus.
It's just it's great.
The one with Mel Gibson was way better.
So can I steal your
yeah.
best or
Fat
worst
Man.
question and
Fat
ask
Man.
you best
Oh,
or
yeah.
worst Die Hard? Best or worst Die Hard?
Okay, best Die Hard.
Ooh.
Best Die Hard.
One with
was
Samuel L. Jackson.
3.
3?
3.
I
Because
think
there was
that's
nothing.
the best
I mean,
one,
because
too.
he's like seriously in New York with that sign. You can't even say what's on that sign.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, yeah. That was just for them to think of that and did that actually do it. It was freaking crazy, man.
Oh, you couldn't do that now in
You
film?
know,
Oh,
forget
forget
it.
it. I mean, the first 3 were classics. The last 2 were garbage. I mean, the 2 that he did after that
The
were
one with
garbage.
Justin
was the
Long wasn't
best.
terrible. Live for your Die Hard. I didn't hate it.
The first
was
one was the
alright.
best.
Isn't that
Yeah.
your New Hampshire motto?
I stopped
What?
Live
watching
for your
after
die.
the
Yeah.
third. I can't. You know,
I didn't think it was bad with Justin Long. I didn't
But
think it was bad. I like
no-
him as an actor.
but the first one and Alan Rickman was just
Oh,
the
Alan
best.
Rickman was awesome.
Was
he is
classic.
was
Bad
such
guy.
a great actor.
that was such a good movie.
Like Robin Hood, he was such a
Oh,
great
my
bad
God.
guy.
The only good the
Actor.
reason you watch
What is
that
that,
horrible
what-
Kevin,
what is it?
another guy whose movies are either really good or really
bad.
suck.
Yeah.
Kevin Costner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
I
Robin
mean, which
Hood,
one sucked?
The only
Man of Steel.
and
No, it didn't.
Oh,
What?
God.
That was.
No, it was beautiful. It
Oh,
was,
come on.
dude!
didn't feel anything right there?
last place you go during a tornado is under a bridge. It's literally the movie's literally killing people by letting people
my
see it.
God.
Like it is the worst idea ever.
Where were they gonna go?
Not under a bridge. Hugging
where-
a tree would be safer.
And the last time I seen the film, there was no trees. They
Not
were on
far.
a flat plane.
You
and
don't
the
go
bridge-
where the suction gets worse.
Oh boy.
It's physics, my friend.
We'll
Bad
talk after
idea.
the show.
Bad idea.
dating advice from dating.
Don't-
go where the
don't
suction
use your
gets
powers.
worse.
It's the whole point of your being, but don't use it.
See, now getting
Oh,
back
boy.
to my worst movies, I watched Morbius basically because people thought it was so bad, and I'm like, I'm gonna give this a. This is probably going to be horrible, but I'll power through it, and I did. I powered through it and was like, this is the most campy, dumb, stupid thing I've ever seen in my life.
But that's why some
then-
people are going to like it because
but-
it's campy.
There's campy, and then there's stupid campy, and that's.
I love Bruce Campbell stuff, man.
See, that's a different kind of camp. And then, but then I started to watch David Harbour because I like David Harbour. His Hellboy.
Yeah,
And
that
I
wasn't
got-
That was
I got-
cringeworthy on a lot of that stuff
I
there.
got through the first 15 minutes and felt like I was wasting my life and turned it off.
Yeah, I couldn't
I
finish
could
watching
not
it either.
Yeah.
finish it. It
Yeah.
I
looked
mean,
so bad.
Clancy Brown just owned
worked
that.
so bad. I mean, it was just so unbelievably not. The plot was unbelievable. Everything about it was just like, there's no way I can't watch this.
Is there anything
I
you're most
literally-
looking forward
I
to
literally
for a
turned
movie
it
that's
off.
coming out? Because I'm looking forward to Constantine 2.
Are they coming out with that?
Yes,
I hope they are. With
Keanu Reeves.
oh god, I hope.
Yeah,
I hope. Did anybody watch Ghost in the Shell?
I did. Oh yeah, I did. Come on.
What did you think of it? Because I went to the movies and I was unbelievably disappointed.
There's a recent movie I didn't even know. I watched the old animated series.
The one with
There's a new
Scarlett
animated series.
Johansson, dude.
No, never watched. No.
You can watch it, but I mean, I was sorely disappointed. If you're a fan of anime and Ghost in the Shell and the kind of the meaning of that whole genre back then in the 80s, don't go see or don't watch it. You could, but it I can't say it's a waste of time, but Ghost in the Shell was kind of that, and Akira were staples in anime back in the 80s. They kind of
They
started it
defined
off.
the season.
They defined anime,
defined the
Japanese.
genre,
Yeah, they defined the genre. So when they said they were making the movie, I was so excited because they brought the original animator in to consult to make the movie. I mean, they pulled out all the stops, the special effects, the whole series of Ghost in the Shell, and they mashed up 4 anime movies into a 2 or 3 hour movie, and it was It was so sloppy. It was hard to follow. I mean, again, the graphics and everything that they put into that was unbelievable.
Yeah, the
They
trailer
took-
must have been amazing.
Well,
And
the
then you go
trailer
see it
was.
and
I
you're
mean,
like, wow, that's
but the movie itself. I went to watch the movie. I went with my sister-in-law because we're big on anime, and we saw it, and we had the same reaction. Was like, okay, well, like you can watch it and be like, okay, what happened? Because they mashed 3 movies and God knows how many episodes into a 2 or 2.5, 3 hour movie, and it was like, why? And then I don't even want to get into it. We'll be here for another 30 minutes explaining everything, but
Yeah,
I mean, it was, I mean, it was one of the disappointing movies I ever seen, ever. I'm sorry.
So, what do we think of the cigar? Final thoughts here.
meh. No.
Can't say that.
I'm joking. No, it is. This
Can't
is
say
this is
nom
one of
nom
like
either.
no, It's one of the most complex, but something that you could still smoke like every day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's got so many nuances to it, but it's thoroughly and like I would like to have this as like a first cigar in the morning with a coffee.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Pat.
Yeah, it's every time I've had it, it's really good. I'm not really a Connecticut smoker, but the few Connecticut's I smoke, to me they're good, and this is one of them. So
I imagine you have positive things to
10
say.
out of
about
10.
it. 10
Can't
out of
rec-
10 out of 10.
Can't recommend it enough.
Absolutely. She recommends it to everybody.
good,
All
very
of her
good.
accounts. It's a great cigar. Again, I'm with Pat. I'm not really a Connecticut smoker. But it's got some really nice complexity. And it's actually not bad with the wine. I mean,
No.
they're kind of on the opposite ends of the
It
spectrum.
I
shouldn't
like
work,
the
but it
contrast. I've
does.
come to like the contrast.
Yeah, I mean, it
Mhm.
grows on you as you continue smoking, as you continue drinking. I mean, it grows on you. At first, you're kind of like thrown off because they're completely opposite. They taste different. They're really not blending well together. But as you continue on this nice little journey, they, like I said, they're like 2 left-footed people that dance well together. You know? It's weird, but it goes well.
It shouldn't, but it does.
Correct.
It shouldn't, but it does. Yeah. The Diamond Crown is a great mild to medium bodied cigar. It's one of the few really good cigars on the market that has a USA Connecticut wrapper on it. And it's not only that wrapper, but it's been double fermented and aged for 5 years. It's really creamy, and the finish on this is just so nice. It's one of my favorite lighter cigars, and I think they blended something very special when they did this. It's a very good cigar, and it's one of the cigars that I recommend for wedding parties and stuff like that. Not only is it good, but the fact that it comes in a 15-count box. So even though it's a really good high-end cigar, you're not necessarily spending a ton of money on it either. It's a very affordable box.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
If there's somebody that's not into cigars and you want them to get into cigars, this is what you would give them, because I now do this for a living. That was my first cigar, so
Awesome.
and now you're
I'm the first success story.
very good. Well, that's our show tonight. Thank you for being with us, Kristen.
Thank you for having me.
Great to have you on the show. And how did you enjoy your first podcast?
I had a great time. Yeah.
Yeah,
It was
very
good.
good. Oh my God, yeah. All right. Are you going to come back?
If you'll have me back, yeah, I'll come back.
Of course.
We'll have
we'll
to do
think about
Julius
it.
Caesar. We'll have to do a sequel.
There you go. Awesome.
We'll have to do that. Do you drink anything other than wine?
Oh, I drink anything.
You drink anything?
All
Okay.
right.
As long as it's wet.
You'll fit right in. All right, everybody. That's our show for tonight. Thanks for watching. We'll be back with you next Monday at 8 o'clock. Don't miss it.